Now, I'm not anti-goal. I use goals a lot. Goals provide a signpost to keep you headed in the right direction. But I've come to realize that starting out with goals was setting me up for failure. I was missing a step. Across my career, one pattern keeps showing up. People skills shape long-term success. I've seen it in high-stakes technical work, leadership, business, and family life. This channel is about solving the people puzzle. I recently attended a workshop on tiny experiments by Anne-Laure Leconf. She challenged us to look over 2025 and find some pattern of behavior we would like to change, where we could run a tiny experiment to give us information. I realized I consistently got to bed late, and I couldn't really explain why. I had set a goal of going to bed on time, but somehow that wasn't enough. Could I design an experiment to help me get to the bottom of this? Following Anne-Laure's formula, I first identified a pattern. I tend to get a late evening boost of productivity that gets me to bed late. From this, I developed a research question. Would I get a better sense of what's driving the evening boost if I tracked time spent by activity after, say, 9 p.m.? In order to study this, I made a pact. I will use a time tracking app to track all my activity after 9 p.m. every night for 1 week. Here's what happened. I actually only managed to track my time for 3 days. I had forgotten I would be traveling, so it wouldn't be a typical week. And in the days leading up to the travel, I got busy and forgot. But for the 3 days I did track, it seemed I did a mix of work and prep up until about 10 p.m., and then spent about an hour or so preparing for bed. But furthermore, I noticed that the fact that I was tracking my time made me conscious of my time and got me to bed earlier. It would be easy to see this as a failed experiment. After all, I didn't come anywhere close to fulfilling the terms of my pact, and that's what most of us would call a failure. But I wasn't trying to build a habit or change my behavior. I was just trying to get information, and I learned 2 important things. First of all, evenings after 7 p.m. seem to be a good energetic time for me to accomplish things. I gravitate toward doing a lot of things in this time block. The side effect is it keeps me from getting to bed on time. But it's worth noting that this is in fact a great time for me to get some work done. Secondly, I noticed that being intentional after a certain time might help me shift gears from working to winding down. My winding down can take an hour or more, and I won't notice it's time to start winding down and actually start that winding down unless I have something that's going to tear me away from the work and let me know that it's time to wind down. Tracking everything I did in an evening for a week was a means to an end. It doesn't really matter that I didn't stick with it. I was trying to get information, not build a habit, and I got enough information that it wasn't worth trying this experiment again on a different week. It was time for a new experiment. My second experiment was driven by the patterns I noticed from the first experiment. I get busy working on things in the evening and don't notice that it's time to wind down for bed, and I'm in such a productive state that this wind down takes a while. And the intentionality of tracking helped me focus on getting to bed. So based on this, I came up with a new research question. Would boosting intentionality by setting an alarm to stop work at 10 p.m. enable me to wind down and get to bed by 11:30 every night? So now I've formed a new pact. I will set an alarm for 10 p.m., stop working, and start winding down, targeting an 11:30 p.m. lights out for 9 days. And here's what happened. I carried out the terms of my pact for the first 8 of 9 days, which gave me a lot of information. The alarm worked. It successfully drew my attention from the task I was working on at 10 p.m. every night. On some nights, I didn't really stop working at 10 p.m., but at least at 10 p.m. I made a quick plan for the rest of the evening and stuck to it, still targeting an 11:30 p.m. lights out. This second experiment confirmed that my intuition from the first experiment was correct. But I didn't stick with the basic timer used for the experiment. The experimental actions weren't the point, the information was. Once I had the information, I stopped experimenting and started designing a system. And so what I chose to do, rather than just setting a basic alarm at 10 p.m., was to go into the sleep timer app on my phone and make adjustments to when my sleep period started and how long the wind down period would be. And that became the high leverage system that enabled goal success. My experience with these tiny experiments taught me that simply setting a goal wasn't enough. There was more going on with my mindset and behavior that needed understanding before I could make a goal that would actually work. The experiments gave me the information to build a system that led to goal success. Some of the videos on my channel describe experiments like this. If you enjoy watching me try things out and possibly failing spectacularly, subscribe to the channel. Check out this video to see what happened when I experimented with taking cold showers in the morning.